Request Mr. Anup Loharuka next to please start the session.
After having great interactive sessions on ChatGPT, I think everybody is आज रात का काम मिल गया है ChatGPT पर पूछने का. Everybody will be engaged in the ChatGPT. So with these words, I will request you, our next speaker, CA Venugopal sir. I request you to come on the dais. Yes, sir. Give a big round of applause for the sir. Now I will request Mahesh Gupta sir to come on the dais for the mementos. Okay, thank you. So now this is a bundling topic, GST. As we all know, GST so many reconciliation karna padta hai. So technology is required to make it automated. Now we have CA Venugopal sir. He's a founder partner in Venu and Venu Chartered Accountant since 2002. His academic credentials include securing all over India 45th ranks in CA final as well as completing several other certificate course from ICIE. So without wasting time, I'll hand over the proceeding to sir. Thank you.
Okay. It's a good thing you don't have a presentation. So you have no choice, you have to only keep seeing me. Right, I know this is the last session. I want to make it more interactive. I want to make it more for you to introspective. Yeah. In the first half of the today, I'm not sure how many of you attended the practical session of mine where I have shown some of the tools for the audit automation and other things. I would like to start the session, in fact session is divided into three parts where the first and foremost part, I want you to tell me how are you doing your audits. Basically this session is more to do with the automation that you can think of, innovative technologies in GST and audits, right? Yes or no? You are in the correct session? Okay, so that I am not speaking something else. So, what is the automation and innovative things that you are doing in the audits? I want to hear from you. Kya kar rahe? Yes. The mic, can you just stand up so that he can identify you?
Sir, in our company, we have an in-house developed audit management system wherein a lot of like data requirements, follow-ups, report creation, all is done through that software.
Right. So you have a practice management suite which has some checklists, so which will keep telling you what time you have to ask when the data comes from the client, it gets stored there. Got it? What else? Okay. What is the software that you use in the audits? Excel. Hai ki nahi? Yes or no? All right. Yes, ma'am.
So sometimes we get the data in PDF form,
Hmm.
and in PDF form we cannot apply the Excel formalities. So there is a software called Abbe which we generally use to convert the files from PDF to Excel, and we can put in our formulas and do the working.
Right. So you are using some tools to simplify the data from PDF to Excel. Right? Okay. So the first question, first part of the discussion which I wanted to have is automate your audit practice is starting from wherever you are doing whatever you are doing, which is like say Excel. Yes. Yeah. Please, please.
Sorry to disturb. For 2 minutes, actually, Sanjeev has to leave for some work. We'll just do small honors and then we'll continue. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Firstly, I really appreciate Sanjeev ji for putting session like this, the Excel man of Eastern India. Sir, please come to the stage. A big round of applause for conceptualizing whole of it. Two parallel session, you'll always be confused, wahan attend karna, yahan attend karna, I'm missing something, is like something which has been created. Bringing all of us from different parts of India, so different, big round of applause, sir.
Thank you, Venu sir. And just 2 minutes, actually my son is going back to US and I have to take him to the flight. So I just need 2 minutes to appreciate the efforts taken by few young members. I request the president of ACI, Sumit Binani, to please come forward. And let me speak out, as you all have seen from the morning, Sumit Bihani, who had been a backbone for this. A big round of applause for him. Sumit, please come forward. And can we have the memento, please?
One just quick words for all of us who have confusion. I am Sumit Bihani and he is Sumit Binani.
Yeah, there is a difference between H and N. So the entire support, whatever you have seen, getting these things together for last 2 weeks, all these 4 people had been, I was just playing a role of, mentoring them, but these are the people who had played a major role. Second one to come is Devarshi Bhuvalka. Please come forward. Both are the co-chairmen of this IT committee. Then we have Sarita Agarwal, please come forward. A very important name, Tarun Gupta. मेरे को पहले ही बुलाना चाहिए था. He had been very, very active throughout, making sure that every program is done very perfectly. Thank you, Tarun. And a very young addition to this entire thing, Rohit Prasad. Thank you all so much. There will be no more disturbance. Venu sir, please take it forward. Thank you.
Definitely this team deserves an applause because they have curated and they have coordinated with the speakers and everything. Good. Thank you. All right. So coming back to the first thing which I said is automate whatever you are doing. So given that you are doing Excel, there are many features. Of course, I have been a trainer on Excel, and like how Rishabh was teaching Excel and which he moved out, and of course I have also. I always tell you, use Excel more from the presentation, but not use any of the source data as to use it as a database. But to start with, definitely there are a lot of features in Excel which you can use it. I'm not sure how many were there in the earlier session where the speaker had shown the power of the not Power BI, but the Power Queries. This is an M scripting tool which will help you to process the data. If you have the data in Excel, it is kind of a mini database. It can write some queries and automate and process it. What is that you can do without any software with the Excel which you have to start with? Automate the process, meaning standardize the process. Create a template, whether you are doing a stock audit, internal audit, stat audit, whatever be it, create a standardized and process put as one template, okay, which can be improvised, but everyone follows one method. Second, in all of the software world, we use this word called ETL, extract, transform, and load. So to the Excel data, to the Excel which you are using, today all the applications are interconnected. All the applications are interconnected. In the Power Query session, you have seen the data has been extracted from PDFs to Excel. Data can be extracted from CSV files to Excel. So if you have GSTR1 data downloaded from the government portal, you can put it into a folder, the PDF files, put it into a folder, right click and extract it. Some simple process. Every month the incremental data, you just copy the PDF of GSTR1 in that folder. That's all you have to do. You refresh, you will get the incremental data automatically to it, right? So Excel has an ability to extract the data from various informations. In fact, in the morning session, I have also shown how to prepare a Schedule 3 financials automatically from Tally. We call this as APIs, Application Program Interchange. So the data from one application can be extracted or it can be pushed to another application. So in Tally, you have something called localhost 9000. So you can connect to the database system of the Tally, fetch the information automatically. However, you just need to, once the data is extracted, you need to transform it before loading it. So instead of you manually taking the data from SAP or whatever be the systems, see if the data can be automatically fetched, right? The third thing that again you will be doing in the audits is you want to look for some pattern, some analysis, some queries. Just as the ChatGPT was happening here, our Rishabhji was explaining about the storytelling with the data. Just before you hit the file button in your GSTR1, or if you are finalizing some sales return or anything, any data, look it at pictorial way. See if you can convert it into a graph, because just by looking at the graph, you will get a huge information. If you are seeing 12 months number, our mind cannot infer or decipher any of the data value of it. But I see it in a graph, I can easily tell, is there any seasonality in their business? I load 2 years and 3 years data, I can also tell, is there any cyclical change in the business? Both can be identified looking at the graph. Always try using two-dimensional graph. Always try using two-dimensional graph, because you cannot have the sales number and the quantity fitting at the same graph. Because my sales, let's say in crores, but the quantity which is sold is only few thousands. I cannot overlap both the data. But on the second axis, I can actually take the second data, right? So when you start loading two-dimensional data to second axis and put one more graph, so parallelly it is like percentiled all the information and it is visible. So you can start correlating one information to other information. And in financials, we always want to see everything as a percentage to sales, or percentage to manufacturing cost, as a percentage to, let's say, utilization of the total assets, various things that you want to see. So choose what graphs you want to do or what graphs you have to understand. Standardize this. So before you conduct any activity, just glance through the information that is coming in, and data will automatically talk to you. In fact, my friend always says, torture the data till it speaks. If the data is unable to talk to you, if it is not talking to you, then you are not doing a right thing. See if the data is talking to you. If I have to again take simple example of GSTR1, the sales which you are submitting, it's all different tables and different numbers. But how do you make it to talk to you? If you are able to tell my B2B sales versus total sales is 70%, it started talking to you. If my number of customers month over month is this and average sales per customers is something, it started talking to you. Unless it doesn't give you any information. Deciphering the value of it, information on it, analyzing it comes to human mind, right? But it should start talking. If it is not talking, then you are not doing the right thing. So when you transform the data and load it in such a way that you are able to talk it. Here comes your intellectual acumen, where you can go back to the client and say, every number in my voucher should talk to me. Please note, every number in the voucher should talk to me. When I say every number, like there are different voucher types, right? Sales, purchase, journal, everything. Under sales, you can create again multiple voucher types. You ask them, create a voucher type. For these transactions, it has to pass through this voucher type. Voucher number they are writing, ask them that what does the voucher number mean? Every business has, including our own business, has segments. Is the transaction captured in that segment? For example, I am booking my sales revenue. Am I distributing into audit assurance, compliance, litigation? Am I creating segments and I am using it as a cost centers? You should always ask that, is this data representing the business? Is the data representing the business? Please note, financials or the books of accounts is not for the compliance. Books of accounts is for the businesses to take decisions. Basis the books of accounts, compliance has to happen. All right? So I should be able to create my ledger. Like there is no meaning of the word purchase ledger. Honestly, when you are suggesting someone to create a ledger called purchases, what's the value that gives to the client? Let's say he is a manufacturing client, you ask them to create a ledger called base metal. You ask them to create a ledger called labor charges. You ask them to create those, you group it under purchase wherever you want to do for your Schedule 3 financials is different. But are the books of accounts representing the back into the business? That is the advice that you have to give. Because if I cannot give him the value addition every month, and please note, that dessert which comes free is the real opportunity for you to get more business. If not more business, that client will trust you and he will be with you. However, you like it or you don't like it, you will still want to go and see one doctor because you have a confidence on him. Unless otherwise he is recommending you to someone else. So if the client has that confidence on you, he will be coming to you. Now, if you start talking to him in his language, he will come to you. And for that, you need to know about the client business. For that, the data should talk to you in that language. So this is the first step. Even if you are using Excel as a tool, can you start making Excel the way you want it to be? You don't need to know programming. You don't need to know the advanced steps. But the point is, these features are there. If you are attending some conferences, you have seen it. You can just go back and to tell in the staff that, hey, so there is something called power queries or power queries and power pivots, all those things. Can we start using it? And give me some reports of it. Ask them. They will figure out. And this is anyhow lean period. Ask them to structurize, template it and do that. Right? So the Excel as an tool which you are using, make it effective for the audit. This is the first takeaway which I want to tell you. The second one, start investing on the tools. Start investing on the tools. The tools as simple as, which I'll say is the YouTube which you are watching. It has some ads that come in. Like if you don't want the ad to come in, you will have to pay some 150 rupees a month, right? So that much time is saved. Imagine the same thing. Everything that you are doing can be further automated. The moment it is automated, you have additional time to think. Try investing more time for your own self to think on the client, to think on the business. Invest time in analysis, invest time in thinking and interpretation, and not on the preparation. Like how you have converted the data to some meaningful information in Excel using either Power Queries or Power Pivots or anything, the standardized tools that are available in the market will automate and simplify. In fact, the classic example, the morning in that hall, I have shown a tool about the audit, the Tally on Wheels, the generalized software. It connects to the Tally data, books of accounts, and gives 120 different reports, different exception reports, right? As simple as you have seen the debtors, there are some debtors without GST numbers, some customers having duplicate GST numbers. There are transactions that were posted on a holidays. There are transactions without any narrations. There are transactions which are likely duplicates because Alt2 is the common feature and mostly used feature by an accountant. He wants to post an entry, he selects some voucher, press Alt2, he changes the date, he changes the party name, he changes the amount, he changes the narration, he changes everything. But still he prefers doing that. So what are the likely duplicates? What are the transactions where the provision entries are not done? All these are done by these general tools. You know, you are doing an audit of the sales. Very critical thing you want to know is the assurance that the revenue has been accrued and fulfilled. But for you, you will apply generally two tests. Test number one is the invoice realized. Is it not just, it's a bogus booking? Has it been realized is the first test you do. The second test you do is, has there been services supplied? In case of material supplied. Is there really a matching concept, the revenue and the expenditure for the period is matching or not? These are the two tests that you do. But if you have to do for each and every transaction, how do you do? Which is not possible for us. But given it to a software, software can do for all the transactions. In the morning we have seen the list of like 19,000 vouchers it picked saying that there is no TDS done for these transactions. For out of so many volume of transaction, in a matter of 5 minutes, it has picked and said for 19,000 transaction TDS was not applied. These many transactions GST credit was not taken. Right? So imagine if 120 different odd reports have to be prepared for you for the audit, it would be a little Herculean task. But for the system, it's an easy done deal. It will do it. So the second thing which I want to advise you on is invest in the software, invest in the tools. The tools are ready out doing it. The third thing and the last thing which I want to discuss and conclude it in another 10 minutes is the future we are moving into. As the Patabi sir rightly said, ChatGPT and things like that never going to replace us. But if we are not using it, then it will replace us. If we are not using it, it will replace us. If we are using it, we will ride over it. If an aeroplane can fly, it knows the rules of gravity, then it knows how to take over that and go. If you don't have that information, then you cannot ride over it. You will always be on the ground, you will only be riding on a motorbike or car, which both can never fly, right? Likewise, you need to have the information to use that. If you think that, okay, this is going to replace me, 100% it is going to replace you. If you think that I will use this for my productive use, it is going to help you in productive use. Two examples which I want to give you is sometime back, 6 months or a couple of close to a year back when I was here. So I was talking to one of our friends saying that very soon you will be aware of whatever the notices that your client has. There are tools which will automatically download those notices, and it is notice management. Download those notices, tell you what date the notice has come, when is your hearing, mark it into a calendar and show. against each client. And it is a reality. Today, as I said, I definitely don't log in and each of the client and I see. The tool, I am sleeping, but the tool in the back end is downloading all the notices, parking into respective things. It logs into the relevant thing and does it. It's like in the morning session I have shown GSTR 1, 3B, 2A, everything has been downloaded on a click of a button. It does it, tools does it. Next thing that is going to come is notice analyzer. Like we are into the litigation. So if you are a human being, you will need medicine, either for fever, once in lifetime. Jaise, if you have a GST number, ek notice aayega. So you cannot say that मेरे को notice नहीं आना है. Like please go to consultant say आप return ऐसे भर दो, मेरे को जिंदगी में कभी भी notice नहीं आना. It is like मैं इंसान हूँ, मेरे को ना खांसी बुखार कुछ भी सर्दी कुछ भी नहीं आना, हो ही नहीं सकता. कुछ ना कुछ आएगा. But what is important thing is if you are geared up to answer those notices. So today the tools are getting ready to analyze your notice. You have seen the ChatGPT, you have asked a question, it gave you an answer. I will load the notice to the ChatGPT, it will analyze and it will give you something. You have any doubts? It will give something, right? Now the analytical tools which are getting done for the litigative management is analyzing and giving you an information. In fact, the best thing for you to reply to a notice, for a moment we don't know any of the legal language, I don't know any of the court citation or anything. I know there is a circular, I know there is a notification. The best thing to reply to a notice is just before that circular or notification there was a GST council minutes happened. Get into the council minutes, go to the agenda of it, it will give you the history. By the way, each GST council meeting minutes will run into between 500 to 1000 pages. But somewhere बीच में वो point जो आपको reply करना चाहते हो वहाँ पे पूरा detailed discussion रहेगा. That would be a good best source to do the reply. Tools are actually there to analyze ये discussion कहाँ पे हुआ, क्यों हुआ, क्या करना चाहिए, is something the tools going to say to us. Just because tool has said it doesn't mean that you should adopt it blindly, but you are now informed. The moment you have received a notice, in our office we have a simple checklist which is categorized into bucket, which is further now getting automated. So it's a simple Excel where in the box 1 it will give you different dates. Like even in your application which you have to file for an appeal, APL 01, you will say date of service kabe, date of communication, like that. First it will capture all the dates. Second, it will capture all the information about the client which is there in the notice vis-a-vis what is there in the portal. Then it will capture about what are the issues which are listed, issue 1, issue 2, issue 3. So it is, the notice is dissected into, put it into various buckets. Then the team will also say what is the relevant turnover in that period, the relevant issue, the information which they can correlate, and then bring it to the seniors. Seniors, when they start looking at it, acha iska, maybe the issue which is with the officer, or maybe the way he understood it, there could be something. So now the senior has an information which he can analyze and be more productive. Vis-a-vis, if that is the person who wants to start replying it, then his focus is more on replying that notice. So no one gets into the technical aspects. If someone has issued a time barred notice, uske paas time bhi nahi hai wo dekhne ke liye. But if these mundane works can be taken care by the system, so you are riding on top of it. Now if the system can give you some information which you can really make use of it, please note it is only an information which you have to use it. I am not saying that you adopt it blindly. So the next level ChatGPTs are being used in the various fields, and especially in our fields, things are automated. Let me tell you what are the things that are automated. You have purchase invoice. Today there are scanners which will easily scan the relevant information, put it to a place. Today I'm sure everyone knows how, if the data is in Excel, data will automatically be posted into Tally, right? If you have data in say Tally, on a click of a button, you can put it into any software. things can be automated. Today that is the simplest thing that is easily doable. If that much is which is already been done and we are not on top of it, these tools which are analyzing and coming and giving, it is going to kill us. Like anything you don't know, what is that first thing you will do? You will Google it. I'm sure most of your income tax clients would have asked that, see, I have sold this property, I want to invest in some capital gain account scheme. Where can I find some 54 EC bonds, or what is the limit? He has already done half research and he is coming to you. Maybe most of the times we don't know what is the limit, we will say we'll come back. But he has half-baked knowledge, half-baked information. And if our knowledge information is not matching to it, he is half the time checked, I'll take care of myself. So in terms of return filing, he finds there are online tools which are easy, he will file the returns by himself. Today, everything is auto-populated. Like if I take GST, GST 90% of the information is coming from e-invoice. When it comes to input tax credit, usko kuch bhi karna nahi chahiye, whether he likes it or not likes it, whatever the credit is there in the 2B, he has to take it. So the information for filing is readily there. He just need to press that button, next, submit. But whether it is right or not is a human acumen which we can do. Today there are tools, because you have e-invoice, the e-invoice data is available to the purchaser also on the portal. I can automatically convert an e-invoice into a purchase bill in my books of accounts. Tools are there, we are not aware, we are not using it. And it will convert and post it into as beautiful with the inventory. Looking at the HSN, it will classify into various type of expenditure. Like you put it as 9954, it knows some repairs and maintenance is happening and it will classify as building repairs. You put it as 8407 and looking at the value, it may say either plant and machinery or office equipments. So the tools are sufficiently equipped with more information than us. So the next phase of the audit automation or the GST automation is more to using these tools. So if we are not at the end of using these tools, then we are victim. We will be replaced by all this ChatGPT. Trust me, we will be replaced if we are not using it. If we are the one using it, then we will be embraced. Client will be having more confidence with us because we are now informed in all rounds. So you have looked at all aspects of my data and then giving me an advice. He is no longer interested in saying a disclaimer statement that we have done a sample verification and our responsibility ends with it. So he also has no confidence. He is like getting it done because ek statutory ke liye ek dastakat chahiye, chalo utne ke liye rakh dete. I will be looking at some other solution to get a next level of it. So the third part I'll repeat is there is next generative tools that are coming. You will not be able to adopt or appreciate the next generative tools unless you start using the basic tools. Today the institute is asking more about peer review. But if you do not even have a basic practice management software, how do you have a proper documentation? Like in the earlier session I was sitting, someone in the back was asking that, can you suggest some good practice management software? Again, there are practice. In our office, we use a software called Papilio. There are many softwares. Advantage, today I need to have a documentation. I have sent an engagement letter with the client. So I create a service in my practice management software and that service ID is just copied in the body of the email. Every time the communication which is happening with the client is tracked in my practice management software. Any attachments that are going, I can say attach this to this my service. So end of the, as the service is completed, I can say these are the original data that has been received from the client. This is the data which is written is filed. So every month the entire service related information is captured. When I am sending an invoice to the client, along with the invoice, I give him a copy of the compliance report. In fact, the morning session I didn't show it, but there is a simple Excel tool which we have in our office. So I just load one Word document, Excel document, PDF document, I load some 10 documents, press a button, it will merge everything into one single PDF. And today we have to submit the PDF. Even if you are going to the online submissions or replies to the department, you have to merge various documents, you have to index them, and in the index you have to refer page number 78, all these things. These are available easily in the tools that are available. So along with the invoice, if you are sending him, here is the compliance report. This is the data that you have sent, and this is what we have worked on. This is your final report with a neatly colored index in between, digital colored index. He will also find it happy. Yes, okay, there's so much value that has gone in. But if you have to do it manually, then it is going to take a Herculean task. You will be saying that he's just paying me 7,500 to 10,000 rupees. You expect me to do all this for that much money? I'm not expecting you to do. I'm saying there are tools. And once you invest on the tool, for the tool is like for the system, it will never get tired. Whether you give 1 report or 100 reports, its job is to do compilation, it is going to do it. So unless you adopt these basic tools, you cannot come and think of the next level questioning or thinking. So to learn or adopt the third step, you have to have second step, generalized audit tools. To adopt the second step, you need to automate your basic functions, which is the first step, which is Excel, where you standardize your processes. So these are the 3 things I want to leave you with, and there is no right answer. Don't look for right software. The only suggestion I always have is go for a cloud software than a desktop. Question is cloud safe? Is desktop safe? There is no answer. The file in your office is more vulnerable, more risky than the file which is there in the cloud. So that much I can tell you. Even if you go to incognito mode in the Google, do you think that it is not tracking? Even it tracks. Last week, one court has awarded where Google ended up paying $5 million as penalty because there was some AdWords that were running and capturing the information in the incognito mode. So that was approved, and one person has made a claim. Google had paid $5 million as pen. So we know in the back of my mind, जो डार्क ब्राउजर आ गया एंड कुछ भी किसी को पता नहीं चलेगा मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, दैट इज ऑल बकवास का ज्ञान है. इंफॉर्मेशन इंटरनेट में गया, कहीं ना कहीं स्टोर हुआ, दैट्स ओके. एंड इफ यू रियली वांट टू डू एंड रिसर्च ऑन द ऑनलाइन, just anonymize the data, put some random name, heading. If the heading is different, then uska kuch matlab hi nahi hai. It's like I have written the exam completely, but roll number of my friend I have written and given, done. It's simple as that. So just randomize, just change the headings and put it so you get your results and figure out how do you copy it. So step 1, automate. First, put a policies, procedures, structures. Step 2, adopt generalized software. Step 3, be the early adopter of the future generative models. These are the precursors which I want to leave you with. There's no point in for me demonstrating one point of it, but I'm sure each one of you are into different practice areas. Feel free to reach to me at any point in time. Whatever the practices that we are doing in our office, I'll always share. We are 13 partners, and each partner is into one domain, and each of us challenge ourselves asking a simple question: are you best in the whatever the domain that you are using? Can I benchmark your services to the next firm in the country or in the world? That's all we'll ask. We don't ask whether you are doing 1 crore business or are you handling 1,000 customers. It doesn't really matter to us. But the service that you are delivering, can I trust that this can be benchmarked to the next global firm? If the answer is yes, you are doing good. So that's how we look at it. And I also want you to start benchmarking yourself. How do you grow? It's like there is nothing called I achieve 1 crore turnover, 10 crore turnover. Revenue is the secondary criteria, but look at the primary criteria, deliverables, where you benchmark something. No, in our accounts also we know budget versus actuals. So हमारे इसमें भी budget क्या है? It's like you set something. See, by the end of the year, this is the where I have to be specialized in, or I should be able to handle this. Set a benchmark, and if you know there is a peer who is doing it, I should be able to do it in that way. Like a simple example, most of you know GST or 9C, pretty simple thing. But a large corporate comes in and says, can you handle me across India? we will be like fumbled, right? So we know, okay, I know for this much volume, but you're asking me to across India, you are using some software, I have no clue, how do I do? That's the first fear that comes in. Overcome that, and if you can, if you know that in this thing I can handle anything, that's when you should be start now talking to Rishabh and say, how do I put a brand of myself, wherein that world should start recognizing me only in that. Now, I always tell people, even if you are good in sweeping, that's okay. Become the best sweeper. Is like you, like Taj has that experience of greatest housekeeping. So the biggest billionaire will hire Taj as their housekeeping services, Oberoi's as their chef in their kitchen. So housemaids are appointed by Taj and Oberoi's because they are the best in that. Like that, whatever be the single thing, try to be best in it, get the global standard. With this note, I thank everyone and open to questions. Thank you. Good. All are eager to go home. So over to the host.
So can you help me with 2 questions?
Okay. This is the toughest job. Okay. What is, simple question, LLM? Oh, okay. So close, but he raised the hand first. So goes. Since you got this, you didn't get this, this goes to you. All right. Second question. Again with the technology, simple question. Fastest fingers first. What is NLP? First hand went there. So you won this book. All right, please come over. Great, good. So I'm happy that you are knowing the technology terms.
Thank you so much, sir. In the meantime, can I request Mahesh Gupta ji to please offer a formal vote of thanks?